Um, Hi, Jan. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I'm so happy to meet you at this coffee shop to talk about our VA loans.
Yes, I love it.
Isn't Zoom wonderful?
Yes.
So let's talk about VA highlights. What
Yeah.
does it take to get pre-approved? Let's just start from the beginning with how much, what does your credit need to look like before you're able to get pre-qualified for a VA loan?
Right. So your credit score typically needs to be 640 or higher. Again, it kind of goes back to what we've talked about before. If you start Googling it, the federal program would allow for lower scores, but most lenders are going to require you to have a 640 credit score or higher.
Yeah. So when you're talking about VA loans, what does that mean?
So it's a federal loan program that was established specifically for active duty or VA veterans or even reservists. So if you're
They
active
have to
duty,
have, do they have to have like a specific amount of years that they've served?
right? Yes. So active duty, you have to have 2 years. And then if you're National Guard, then typically you have to have 6 years of National Guard experience. So yeah, there's a time frame. And what we do is I can search through an automated system that has the VA records. And if it doesn't pull up anything, then I would request the veteran or the active duty or the National Guard for their DD 214. And then I can send that into the VA and it would tell me if they're eligible or not eligible for the VA loan program.
So what is that? What is a TD 214?
It's a form that they receive when they are discharged from the military, and it's called a DD 214. Okay. So, and most military members are going to have that handy. And if it's something that, maybe they were discharged from the military a long time ago and they lost that form, then they would have to contact the VA to get that form. And the VA is super helpful because they want to help our veterans get into, homes.
Yeah. So is there a down payment that's required for these veterans that have served and, have given, their lives to service?
Right. The ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, that's the beauty of this program. So it's a zero down payment that is required for the loan. So no down payment is required for the VA loan program. So that's amazing.
So are they still needing to cover their closing costs? Because that is an additional cost.
Yeah, so they would still have to cover their closing costs. That would be an additional cost unless they, like many other loan programs, could get the seller to help contribute towards their closing costs. And if that's the case, then essentially they could come in with no money out of pocket.
Yeah. So is there a specific percentage that the seller could offer to cover?
Yeah, so it's 4%. So 4% of the sales price. So on a $300,000 purchase, then that would be $12,000. Just having to do some quick math, but yeah. $12,000 that the seller contribute towards their closing costs.
Yeah, and I just want to remind our audience, if you're looking at a home and you're thinking about asking the seller for closing costs and the seller is pretty much needing to net a specific amount, you can always raise the price to be able to cover those closing costs as long as the appraisal comes in, at that specific price, and it's going to appraise for that amount.
Right, exactly. So like using the same example, if they were asking 300,000, you had 12,000, you could offer them 312,000, asking them to pay your 12,000 in closing costs. And then they're still going to net that 300,000 they're asking for. And we would just need the appraisal to come in at the 312.
So are there additional fees that are associated with VA loans that like funding fees, things like that?
Yep. So the VA has what's called an upfront funding fee. And there are different percentages. I don't know if I made notes of that. if you're disabled from the, released on disability from the VA, then you don't have a funding fee. So that makes the program even better. If you don't have a disability associated with your time in the military, then that funding fee ranges anywhere from 1.4 to 3.6%. And that range is dependent on whether you've used the program before or not.
So if a VA already has an existing home, they're looking to sell it and repurchase a home because they can't have a secondary home with this specific program.
Correct.
Would they have an additional funding fee for the new home?
Yeah, so if they had previously used that VA loan benefit, then that they would probably be maxed out at that 3.6%. And that gets financed into the loan. So it's not a fee that you have to pay out of pocket. It's just an additional fee that gets financed. And if you're selling a home that has a VA loan, then we just quickly have to show the VA that you have sold that home. So typically we like to maybe close on the one home one day and then the new purchase the next day, just so that we can get everything cleared with the VA that you've gotten rid of the one VA loan and now you're getting the second VA loan.
Yeah, so there is definitely opportunity to be able to upgrade, upsize, or downsize.
Yeah.
It just has to be, simultaneous.
Right, yes.
And that's where realtors come in, and we'll make sure that your process is smooth.
Yeah.
If a VA wants to put down like 20%, let's say, what are the benefits of actually putting money down on a VA loan?
So you can do that with the federal VA loan program, but also here in Oregon, we have the an Oregon specific Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs loan. And that is going to pencil out maybe for you to, or for me to look at that program for you if you're putting 20% down, because then you don't have the funding fee. And in addition, we often see that their rates are maybe about a point less than the federal VA loan program. So if you are putting, 20% or more down, then it would be advantageous, for us to look at that program for you and help save you money in your interest rate, not have the funding fee. And then of course, in turn, your monthly payment would be lower.
So with VA loans, are sellers still able to buy your rate down with VA loans, or is that not a possibility?
Nope, that a long time ago, there was a long list of fees that sellers were not able to pay, or that couldn't even be charged to veterans. But that has kind of gone to the wayside. So yeah, absolutely. The seller can help with the closing costs as long as they're within that 4% range to help as part of your closing costs buy down your interest rate.
Yeah. So they can choose pretty much, where it's allocated.
Yes.
That specific 4%.
Yep. Absolutely. As long as you're not going over that 4%.
Okay. That's wonderful. Also, I wanted to see, like with VA loans, like is the interest rate automatically lower than normal FHA or other loan types?
So it's,
putting
not necessarily
down 20%?
automatically, but typically we do see that the government loan programs like FHA, so VA would be a government loan program, do typically have a lower interest rate than a conventional or conforming loan. So yeah, if you're a veteran, it is absolutely worth it to look at this loan program. It's one of the best ones out there. And of course, I love helping our veterans.
Absolutely. I think that that's really super important to me as well.
Yeah.
Also with VA loans, are they able to purchase like a fourplex, a duplex, a triplex with a VA loan, or is that not a possibility?
No, it has to be a single family residence and your primary residence.
Okay, so no investment properties with VA
No second
loans,
homes.
no
Yeah.
second homes. It just has to be a primary residence, a single family residence.
Yep.
So to be able to qualify. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it.
Good.
I'm so happy that we were able to help our audience understand a little bit more about VA loans.
Yes.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our number is always on the bottom. So just take a look at that and reach out to us. My name is Julia Quirke, and I'm with EXP Realty out
Yeah.
of Salem, Oregon. I'm a local realtor, and this is Jan. She will
Yep.
introduce
Jen
herself.
Cantu with Landmark Professional Mortgage.
Yes, and she's out of Salem too. So, but she covers a broad area.
Yeah, I'm also licensed in Washington and Idaho on top of Oregon. So
Yeah, so we look forward to hearing from you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment on this video. We're here to help you guys. So we look
Absolutely.
forward to meeting you guys.
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jan. We'll see you next time.
Bye.